So, growing up, what does that mean? What's it look like? How do we get there? All the stuff. Stay tuned to find out how. It's time to wake up and step up. Let's do this. All right, so last episode we talked about growing up. I hammered on a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to hammer on some more stuff right now. So, one of the things that is important to realize with growing up, what are we growing up to? We are growing up to look like Christ. So, when you squeeze an orange, you expect to get orange juice out of it. When a Christian gets squeezed, we should have Christ come out, exclusively Christ, because it is I have died and it is no longer I that live, that Christ that lives in me. So we should not be having carnal responses. We should not be having any human responses. It is Jesus' responses, regardless of the situation. We should be men and women of faith because we are sons and daughters of the King, being his ambassadors here on the earth, ruling and reigning, subduing all of creation. That's the job. That's what it's supposed to be about. So how to get there requires self-discipline, and that's something that we are not really growing into a lot in the Christian church. So what we do oftentimes is we like to just live our life and do our week and do what we want to do, and then on the weekends we come to Jesus and we come to the service and we're like, feed me, feed me, feed me, and we've turned Christianity into a consumerism institution instead of it being mature sons and daughters ruling and reigning and affecting and changing environment. We are subdued by their environment and subdued by the government and whatever's going on. Totally backwards to what it's supposed to be looking like for growing up. All that to say that it is our job to be looking like Christ, releasing heaven on earth, and doing that. But it takes us actually having to choose self-will and choose self-discipline to get up early and seek the Lord in the morning, or stay up late and seek the Lord in the evening. But it's setting aside time to be in his word, to let his word saturate us and permeate every part of our being, to live and breathe how Jesus would, to be full of him. And that's through intimacy with prayer. And it's not prayer like I'm praying for someone and I'm interceding for something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stopping to be with the Lord. For you to wait on the Lord, for you to just go and be with him, is different than praying or interceding for something, because we do that a lot in Christianity, but we don't do a lot of waiting and a lot of being still. And that's where just getting to know him and not coming with an agenda, it changes everything. But it also, that's what changes our heart. It's not us coming to God and praying for things that changes us. It's coming and being with him that changes us. So will you do what it takes to get there, to grow up? I mean, it is not easy to get up early and seek the Lord, and to seek the Lord for hours, or to seek the Lord for hours in the evening, and to be in the Word. Like, sometimes it's super fun to read the Bible. Other times it's not, and it's just you have to push through this wall. And will you push through? That's what it takes for us to be mature, is to be responsible sons of God and daughters of God. Will you do that? It changes the way that you think. We can't just sit back and be a consumer and eat regurgitated food from someone else and a pastor. You have to go and feed yourself with the Lord and eat of the Lord yourself and taste and see that he's good for yourself. It's not maturity to be going and eating someone else's regurgitated food that they've had and they've chewed and that they're giving back to you. You want to go and be getting your own meat and be getting your own food. And then as you are feeding yourself and as you grow in maturity, then you start walking out and doing the things that Jesus tells you to do. So when he tells you to go pray for someone, when you have an unctioning to go left instead of right, or wherever the leadings of the Spirit is, be obedient to that. And will you step up and just start being obedient to what he's asking you to do, what he's asking you to lay down? I guarantee the things that Jesus is asking you is the best thing ever, because he only has good plans in store for you and in store for the world. So it's always worth it, but it is painful a lot of times in that process of dying to yourself and becoming more like him. So will you choose to do that? Because it's time to grow up. The world is literally dying, waiting for us to figure this out. And it's time for us to start stepping up as the sons and daughters of the King, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. So that's my thoughts for you.